say, you know, either the circumference or the area, this formula comes up a lot more often than our circumference formula. But make sure that you pay attention to what they're saying, because they might give you the circumference and you might have to take that and then use it to find your R for your area. So again, make sure that your letters are correct, meaning that this is a capital F, and then what's the area of a circle? R squared, right? So our circumference was again what? 2 pi r or pi d. This is simply pi r squared. Now remember, what's r squared mean? Times itself twice, right? Not times 2, times itself. So r times r and then times pi. And again, you can use pi however you want. If you want to use 3.14, if you want to use the button. We'll do it both ways, okay? So again, really important that you differentiate between the two. Here's another one, or another key to some of the problems that you might run into, like on the homework or a quiz or a test. If they give you a polygon, right? What's a polygon? Just some kind of shape, right? And you, they ask you to find a radius of a polygon. Remember that the radius of a polygon, if you draw a circle around the outside of your polygon, the radius would be at the vertices of that polygon. So obviously we'll use a lot of that on Monday when we get to regular polygons. Okay? But basically that's kind of all that what they talk about with the circle. Okay? From there then they talk about a sector of a circle. What's that mean to you?
A shaded region.
Okay? So it's a portion of my circle, right? So if we have our circle and we have just one portion and they color that in, and they say, well, what is that? What is the area of that sector? What do you think we have to do?
Find circumference and then divide it by the number of sectors.
Why the circumference?
Because you have to figure out what the base or the curved edge is. So
Okay.
you have it on the sides.
You're kind of on the right track. We're not necessarily going to think about the circumference, though. What do we know about a circle in general?
360 degrees.
It's 360 degrees. So what portion of 360 degrees that we're actually talking about? So he was on the right track. He just kind of said it in the wrong way. So how do I show that? What portion is this shaded area of my 360 degrees? So basically, you're going to have a fraction that's 360 degrees, and then I'm going to put x degrees here. So the number of degrees that I have for my particular, I don't know, piece of pie or whatever. And then we have to still multiply this times what? The whole circle, pi r squared. So pi r squared is still going to be involved because that's the area of a circle. But now we're going to use this fraction to just show the sliver that we're talking about. And this is where, like on Monday, it'll be really important that it's a regular polygon. Obviously, circles are basically always regular, right? We would hope that the sections are all even if you did it in a specific way. Now, obviously, those of you that work at pizza establishments know that your cutting prowess isn't probably perfect all the time, right? Oh, I was going to say, you probably missed that one because you were sick on that day.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
Is he really there?
Good.
I think that was a fake
Yeah, I
line.
can see the pizza.
so x is the degree measure of this arc. So realistically, remember, we're measuring this arc with that x. But realistically, this angle that we make is what kind of an angle?
Central.
A central angle. And if this is a central angle, then this degree measure and that measure of the arc are what?
Congruent.
The same, or the congruent measurement. And that's why you can use this formula. Okay, so again, remember when I told you how many formulas that you're going to have to do for the quiz and the test?
15.
Now we got a couple more, right?
We're at 6.
So what do you mean, how do I solve? Well, you have to be able to, you'll be given a radius, and then you'll just have to, they'll tell you what that sector
Wait,
is.
what's the same, the degree and the art? The same?
Yes, because this is a central angle. That's what we talked about last chapter with our circles. Okay?
What's gonna be the X?
The x is this degree measure.
The degree measure.
Yes, the degree measure. Okay? So realistically, they show it as x degrees over 360. It's a portion of the circle. Right? So let's look at some. That's it though, for today.
That's it?
Yeah. So here's the first one. An outdoor accessories company manufactures circular covers for outdoor umbrellas. If the cover is 8 inches longer than the umbrella on each side, find the area of the cover in square inches. Remember, we're still talking about an area, so we're multiplying 2 radii together. That's why my answer is still squared, right? Whatever my label is. Okay, so what do I need to do in this one?
That's 16.
16.
Add 16?
And then take half of it.
Would you stop saying circumference? You don't need the circumference.
Area, I meant area.
Okay.
And you're gonna subtract the smaller area from the bigger area.
Way too much work.
Can you just
Just
take
do
half,
76.
add 8 to 36, because that's half of 72. And then square that times
So my radius is what for the cover?
46, 44.
44. So in this one right here, we're just simply going to do pi times 44 squared, right? That's all we're going to do. Okay?
Where are you getting 44?
Because this radius right here would be 36,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to add 8.
Oh, you took the half of it.
So then I get my 44 squared. Now, again, if you look in the back of the book, if you're doing any of these problems, a lot of times they'll punch 44 squared into the calculator, but then use that answer and just put pi next to it. Go ahead and punch it in. Okay? How much?
6,082.12.
6,082.12. What?
3377.
Inches squared.
You just split it.
So then we got to make sure that we answer the question, right?
How can you change take 72 plus 8 and then divide by 2?
You can do that too.
16 divided by
Yeah, you'd have to add 16.
Yeah, because I got an 8 inch on the other side too. Yep. So you could do that too. All right? Everybody good? Don't act like you don't have questions on
I know.
things like that.
This is relative.
Find the radius of the circle with an area of 58 square inches. So basically we're just doing what? We're going backwards, basically now, right? So with this one, we're actually looking for r, but in my formula it's r squared. So how do I get r squared by itself first? I'm going to divide by pi, and then how do I get r squared to just be r?
Square root.
Take the square root. Do not round until the very, very end, right? So again, we're going to set up this formula right here, right? There's my formula that I'm going to use, and I'm going to start plugging things in. Well, I already know what pi is, and I know what 58 is. So I'm going to divide both sides by 58, or by pi, I mean, sorry. And then I'm going to take the square root of that grand total.
Yeah, let's see, it's 4.3.
Yeah, it's 4.3-ish.
Oh,
Approximate.
now, when they ask you this answer right here, they say find the radius, it's 4.3 what?
Inches.
Then when you go back to a radius, then it's just an inch, not inches squared. Make sense? Okay? Everybody good with that?
Yep.
We're on a roll today. Yeah.
Roll Tide.
You're gonna have some time to even look at some problems.
Roll Tide.
Alright, here we go. A pie has a diameter of 9 inches. Okay? A pie has a diameter of 9 inches. So think about the picture that you would draw here, maybe. And is cut into 10 congruent slices. That's the key to this part right here. What is the area of one slice? So basically, they're saying this right here. What is the area of that one piece of pizza? The key to this, though, is the what part? The 10 congruent slices. You got to know that, and then you'd have to know that, one, that it's a diameter, so what do I have to do with my 9?
Divide by 2.
You got to divide by 2. Okay? So again, remember, that's the other thing that's different between circumference and area, right? Circumference, if they gave you a diameter, you could use that other formula, right? Pi d instead of using 2 pi r. This one, you always have to get it into an r, right? So, what does the 10 have to do with?
Divided by 10.
You're taking 360 degrees divided by 10 because then each one of these central angles would be the same. So 36 is going to be this portion right here, right? Okay? So 36 over 360. So the first thing you got to do is actually figure out that degree measure. 10 is not the degree measure. Everybody okay with that? The 10 is just the congruent, telling you that there's 10 congruent slices. So then I take 360 divided by my congruent slices. And so my zeros cancel out, so I get 36 degrees. That's my x over the 360. So this one piece of pie has an angle of 36 degrees right there. But then I continue on. Pi, what did we figure out for r? 4.5 squared. Now, again, this is where, for whatever reason in the other class, they didn't like when I said you can divide kind of whenever you want.
Yeah.
But you can divide whenever you want. So what I'm saying here is, if you just want to do all the multiplication, you can square this times pi times 36 and then divide by 360. Or you can punch this in first. If you punch this in first and you get a decimal, make sure you use that entire decimal with the other calculation.
It's need decimal.
Okay? But that, just in case this goes on and on, you got to make sure that you use the whole thing. Okay? So, anybody punch it in their calculator?
6.4.
The grand total is?
I did 180 divided by 360.
Why 180?
Because
I did a lot
I'm
of
looking
these
for
the other way.
1. I did 180. I got the same answer. I got 180 divided by 360 times 4.5 squared.
Just forget.
Same answer.
If it's congruent slices,
Wait a minute. What? No.
So I did 180 divided by 360 and then
That's
times-
1/2.
times pi times 4.5 squared. I got 31.8, but since it's 5 slices in 180, I divided by 5. I got 6.
I mean, yeah.
I did some.
I did
That's
it.
a lot more complicated.
If it's
than
congruent
I
slices,
did it in my head and I thought
can't
it
you
was
just find the whole thing and then divide by the number of
You
slices?
can at the end. Yes.
So that's what I did, and I got the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So you can do it either way.
Obviously,
Gabriel's way is a little bit more complicated.
I don't like you.
Okay? So that's how I would do it. What everybody else was saying over here is they just did the problem and then figured it out at the end that it was 10. Or divided by 10.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know why you would cut it into a semicircle
I
first.
like that. It's a lot easier than a
Everyone wants to
big
eat half
old
of it.
circle.
Oh no, he
Well,
will.
that's what I was wondering, if you just thought that
Yeah,
every pizza
Carrie.
was 2 pieces.
He don't give it all. He's eating that whole
It was
thing.
just 2
Oh
pieces.
no, he's gonna get another one.
Basically, that's exactly the same thing. Okay? So if you want to do another one, this one, just notice that it's 8 congruent slices, and then make sure that you understand if it's a diameter or a radius when they tell you at the beginning. But that's it. Okay? So basically, you got the rest of the time to look at some problems.
B.
Yeah.
Just wait, I'm not there yet.
Sorry, I forgot. You got to split yours into half first, and then.
Then divide by 4 this time. Yeah.
What's the answer?
What's your answer?
19.24.
That's what I got too.
I hope it's how do you?
It's B.
Dang it, I was hoping to.
I like that
Figured out
animation.
everything.
Yeah, I like the animation of that whole ring.
Alright, games.
So you got a lot of time. Take some time to look at some of these problems. Obviously, again, you do not have to do them if you don't want to, but they will help you on This group, we probably won't do until Tuesday. Monday, we'll go back and do, trapezoids, kites, and what else? Rama, right? So, you got a lot of time here. Work on some of these problems. If you didn't do the assignment for the kites and Ramba, you got a bunch of time. At least look at some of them today. The quiz will end up being on Wednesday, yes.
That's gonna be a really short period, but now.